Hi there. Welcome back to the ballpark or field or wherever you find your favorite diamond sport. My name is Darren Sutton, and this is the only show devoted to amateur baseball and softball. This is Perfect Game Weekly, presented by Rawlings. You know us baseball and softball people. We're numbers people. Jerseys and stats and always passing those numbers around. This is show number 8 of its 2022 season, and we think about the number 2 quite a bit in this show, like baseball fans think about Tommy Lasorda wore number 2. Troy Tulowitzki, shortstop, now coaches at Texas College Baseball, number 2. Number 2, Derek Jeter. We also think about that. Number 2 is where we'll crank this show up as we look at our rundown. The number 2 player in the 2022 class, Elijah Green, and deserving to be there or even higher if that's possible. The number 2 player in the 2026 class is Rouselle rookie Shepard. He will join us. What a bright future he has. And by the way, both of those gentlemen, Miami commits. Isn't that very interesting? A stop in Iowa. Perfect Game Softball Combines, the future of the sport in the 23 through 26 classes. It's incredible to see. But we love to road trip on this show. After all, how do scouts, outside of watching great video and streaming, find the best players? They go see them in person. So let's go around the country. Let's road trip. Let's do so with Vinnie Cervino. Let's do so with Jheremy Brown. There are a couple of great riders and great scouts, but the third man who we crank up out of Cleveland, Ohio, we'll crank it up with Brian Sakowski. Let's go road tripping, finding the best players at all levels around the U.S.
Yeah, thanks, Sut. 40 degrees with no snow on the ground in Cleveland today. Baseball season must be upon us. We've had a couple weeks into the college season. Want to talk about some guys who have stood out in that sense. My focus today is college pitching, specifically college left-handed pitching. The Florida State duo of Parker Messick and Bryce Hubbard, both extremely good so far in their first couple starts of the year. Messick's a little more physical, plus changeup. Above average fastball velocity, solid breaker. The changeup's the pitch there, though. Hubbard a little lighter in terms of velocity right now, 90-91, but tons of angle, tons of ride, tons of deception on the fastball. The fastball grades out as one of the best in the class, and he still does not have above average velocity yet, but he will, along with a full mix. They've both been great. And we have to talk about the guy that we were highest on coming into the season anyways, and that's Cooper Herpy from Oregon State. Really dynamic stuff so far, really dominant. Has some deception to him, a really low release height with a flat vertical approach angle there on the fastball. It's in the low 90s. It's deceptive. It's out of that lower slot with angle. He's got a good slider. It's got a ton of sweep to it. Metrically, he really checks out. Those three might make the case for that mid-first round jump. Vin, let's go to Florida. How's the palm trees?
Yeah, thanks for the throw there, Sack. It is sunny and gorgeous here in Florida, along with all the palm trees. But I want to talk to you about IMG Academy, who I saw last week. They are the number 2 team in the country per our Perfect Game High School Top 50. Elijah Green, you know the name by now. He's got a ridiculous array of tools. Could be a couple of 80 grade tools by the time it's really all said and done. He's been off to a terrific start this season, had a couple home runs, and multiple exit velocities well north of 100 miles an hour. He looks to have shortened his swing up a little bit too, which seems to have produced pretty good results in terms of cutting down on the swing and miss. But he looks extremely locked in right now. Jackson Ferris got the first start on opening night for IMG. He was his typical self. 90-94 with the fastball, really threw a ton of strikes and located well to the arm side. Curveball has plus potential. The third All-American on the team is Brady Neal, catcher committed to LSU. He's a very well-balanced skill set. Had 2 knocks on the day, including the walk-off RBI single down the right field line. It's a very solid hit tool. It's a good swing. There's good swing decisions. He controls his zone well. And he can also catch and throw a little bit. He had a 2.01 pop time down to second base. All in all, IMG looks really, really good as they're heading into the Perfect Game High School Showdown, and they have no shortage of talent. And for the next segment, I'll go ahead and kick that over to Jheremy.
Hey, thanks, Vin. I'm going to take my time to talk about a couple of the 2026 risers as we just updated those rankings. The spring season's kind of underway, and a few showcases have already discovered a couple new players for us. Grant Meyerhoff, he jumped all the way from unranked to number 6, left-handed pitcher committed to Louisville. And I'm going to stick with the left-handed, jump over to Georgia with RJ Cope, 6'6", really good two-way potential, physical, strong. Reports have him already working into the mid to upper 80s this spring. 2 more names that kind of jumped from unranked to ranked. Matthew Sharman out of Georgia, just performed well in the showcase down there, up to 84 on the mound, debuts at number 39 in the country. And Spencer Browning, who I personally got to see this past weekend in Texas, committed to Arkansas already, debuts at number 98. Almost a 7 flat runner, 82 across the diamond, really fast right-handed swing. And to round it out, I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about Sean Sullivan, just outside the top 50 now, but if we were to re-update, he's going up. Fast arm, right-handed arm out of Ohio, topped out at 89 miles an hour, which I believe is best for the class already. So a lot of good stuff's happening in the 2026 class, and we're just beginning the process, so buckle up. It's going to be a fun ride. Sut, back to you.
The, by the way, 2022 version of Thelma and Louise is Vinnie, Jheremy, and Brian. Catch it coming soon or streaming at a theater or, of course, on a device near you. When they stop in Vegas, by the way, they have fun, but they'll slip on by and see one of the best players in the country in the 2026 class. When we come back, a conversation with Rouselle rookie Shepard. What an amazing baseball name. Our chat on Perfect Game Weekly, presented by Rawlings. We welcome you back to Perfect Game Weekly. We're presented by Rawlings each and every week, and I'm excited to go to Las Vegas to reconnect with a very talented athlete, a Perfect Game Select Festival athlete. We spend time with rookie Shepard now. Rookie wrapping up what is his final year before heading into high school this next year. So he's a 2026, the number 2 player in the class. Rookie, man, thanks for hanging out with us. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you guys for having me. I'm blessed and honored to be here.
From about a year ago, which would be early 2021 until now, what part of your game has grown specifically the most?
I would say my leadership. Last year, I was a little quiet in the dugout and stuff, but within this past year, my leadership has gone up a ton, picking up my teammates if they get out or strike out, and even keeping myself accountable with dealing with failure. I mean, you of all people know in baseball you're going to fail. So just keeping yourself on a high level of attitude and, just keeping yourself at high standards.
What are some of the key moving parts in your swing? From your helmet all the way down to your spikes, where those hands, those hips, what are some of the key moving parts in your swing when it's right?
Absolutely. I mean, with me, it's all about my approach going out to the plate. I mean, for me, I feel like my at-bat starts before I step in that batter's box in the on-deck circle, even in the dugout, seeing how hard he throws, what pitches he goes to in certain counts. So when I'm in that box and I see the different counts, I already know what velocities I'm going to see or how he changes it up. But when in my swing, I like to use my legs a lot because that's where all my power comes from. So kind of just getting not too low, not too high, just a happy medium in my stance. I'm about in between the first and second corner of the plate, but that depends on how hard the pitcher's throwing. I have a slightly open stance. Like I said, I like to get along my legs. Hands are about even with my ears. And I'm just trying to see a pitch I can hit and put a bat on it.
Talk to me about kind of how you've grown as a middle infielder. Catcher, we could do a whole show on. The courage to be a catcher, thumbs up to you. But talk to me about some things you've learned as a middle infielder over that past year that we spoke of.
Yeah, you have to stay mentally strong as an infielder, before, like we talked about, staying mentally strong, you go 0 for 4, you make an error, you got to put that behind you, move on to the next step. Personally, infielding has helped my footwork out tremendously. Ladder drills, infield drills, keeping my hands soft. I mean, that's helped me a ton. Not only with not only with fielding, but hitting as well. Just staying smooth and staying on a high level.
All right, what's the last great conversation you had, and what did you talk about with your mom, Rachel?
Probably before this, we had a great conversation, and she talked to me about how blessed and fortunate I am to be here, and just kind of all take it in and enjoy the moment because you're only going to be here once.
That's outstanding. Is she nearby, by the way, in your home studio?
Yes, sir, she is. She's sitting right next to me.
Excellent. Thank you, Rachel. That's a great conversation. A little bit of a different question about your dad. He played college football, and you're taking on football now as well. You put the pads on this year. Tell me about Dad. Let me get to meet Dad through your words. Your dad, Darren, great name. Let me get to meet him through your words, and then talk to me about football after that.
Yeah, he's a great man. I love my dad. He's my hero. He works very hard to provide for my family. Without him, I wouldn't have the equipment and the different things I have in baseball. I mean, it's an inside joke. He'd like to say that I got my athletic genes from my dad, but my mom, she played softball as well. But my dad, he's a very hard worker. He keeps me accountable. Lessons he's learned in his life, he passes on to me. Tries to keep me in a straight line.
So what's your favorite restaurant around home? It could be a chain. I don't love chains, but what's the place that you say when your parents say, hey, we're going here tonight, you're like, dude, what is that restaurant?
Ooh, probably either Chipotle or Blaze Pizza. I'm not a big restaurant guy. I just like to pick it up and come back home and eat.
Okay, so I'm going to let you be at Blaze Pizza. And
Okay.
I'm going to let you sit at a three-top. That's what they call it in the industry, a three-top. And you're
Okay.
sharing your table with Jackie Robinson and Fernando Tatis. And you get to have a pizza with them and have conversation. What do you want to talk to them about? Maybe the same things, maybe different things, but a question or two you'd have for Jackie and Tatis.
Jackie Robinson, a question I've talked to him about is how tough he stayed mentally. Just going through everything he did and how mentally strong he was. And then Fernando Tatis, with he's battled through some injuries. And just again, how they've stayed mentally strong in their off seasons, what they did. I mean, going from Jackie Robinson to Tatis, obviously technologies have changed and stuff. So just kind of compare and contrast the stuff that they do and the processes and everything like that they've gone to get to where they are today. Yeah.
Outstanding stuff. Did your dog come visit the interview room now?
Yeah, she's running around
nice.
in the background.
I like it. It's a true home studio for the rookie.
Her name is actually Jackie, and we named her after Jackie Robinson.
Wow. She heard. She's like, wait a minute. Is that me?
Yeah, that's
he's
my
asking
name.
About? That's good stuff. Final question for you. You're joining that ZT Elite travel team, and you're going to go play in the PG Houston Super Regional. Now, you're playing on the older side of things, but there's nearly 1,000 teams in this event. Tell me about the event from your perspective. Looking forward to playing, and what do you hope you accomplish?
Oh yeah, I mean the goal is to not only win but to get better from this. I haven't played in a few months, so I'm just looking forward to getting back on the field, having fun with my guys, having fun with my teammates, even opponents. Those are some of my best friends in the whole entire world. So just getting to see them, see my coaches. Having fun with everyone that I meet there, and just getting ready to have a good time.
Rookie, enjoy it. Thank you for your time. Jackie, Rachel, thank you for your time as well. Jackie, thanks for coming into the interview. We appreciate it, my friend. Be well. Have a great run at this season.
You too. Thank you so much.
From Vegas, Rookie Shepard. When we come back, we'll go from Las Vegas to Iowa, focusing in on a great indoor combine that Perfect Game has put together. We'll get to know some of these great athletes and their leaders on Perfect Game Weekly, presented by Rawlings. Learning and loving all sports on the diamond as we welcome you back to Perfect Game Weekly, presented by Rawlings, including, as we've mentioned, softball with PG softball indoors. It is in Iowa, certainly in Burlington, Iowa, but another really impactful Perfect Game Scouting Combine. 40 athletes, 4 different states represented, classes 23 through 26, all uncommitted. So a great opportunity for Destiny Martinez and Jessica Schultz and Sam Fisher, all great college players at one point, all key leaders on the PG softball side. Let's go inside the dome and see the fun that was going on with these athletes chasing their dreams.
What we're trying to do is really bring all of the resources that Perfect Game has on the baseball side into the softball space. We have tons of technology. We have tons of different resources for these girls to really be identified in ways that they otherwise wouldn't be able to be seen. It's really just a one-stop shop for college coaches to kind of get to see what the athlete is capable of, their potential, their growth.
I like it how I can see different perspectives and how they played at Oklahoma. I can see what I need to work on. I just kind of go out there and just play my own game and just have fun.
Getting exposure to college players, for example, in that type of level to play at. And what I was really looking forward to is being able to test myself, seeing how far I've come and how I could get better and all that. I just more of a mark to see where I'm at in my career.
To me, it's getting out there and feeding off our energy. I mean, today it's just the group of women that are here. We've all played it. We've all been in their shoes. So creating those relationships in the warm-up, making sure that we're all present, I think that's a big piece, and having kids feel comfortable. I mean, that's something that Destiny and I really wanted to change about the softball side, is having our scouts out there interacting with these kids as they're performing, to take that little bit of pressure off of them that we're just scouting them.
Oh, hello. You gotta stay behind it right here, babe. It's all right.
I think a lot of things that are intangibles happen when you build that relationship. The things, not just the skill, but what are they doing after they make that play? What are they doing after they don't make the big home run swing? So for us to get kids to feel comfortable is making sure that they're relatable to us. They're able to have conversations with us and ask us anything.
I was really nervous, so I learned just to get out of my head and just be confident even if I do mess up, and just like with the college talk, just to set those goals in mind even harder, and just to know, like, not set on one school, just to be open-minded.
Graduated in 2012, went on to play for Team USA. Actually got to play with Destiny and Jess back there. And since 2016, I've been playing professionally. I played in the States, I played in Japan.
I love talking to the kids. I love that I'm able to do the educational piece and give them a little piece of my story, because right now my story is rare and I don't want it to be. That at the end of the day, I want people to be able to say I went where I wanted to go and I accomplished what I wanted to do, instead of I felt like I had to do this in order to get that. Like, put your happiness first and be able to get what you want out of it. And the kids were so receptive and they asked questions, and I just love that. So being able to share that and hopefully be a little piece in them getting the things that they want and accomplishing their goals, that means the world. The way that softball is right now is there's a few organizations who kind of are pipelines to top programs, and I feel that there's a need nationwide for girls to be identified in a different space. And so if we can provide that to them, that would be the end goal. I want girls to feel noticed, I want them to feel seen, but I also want them to feel inspired by our staff and then educated on all of the routes that they can take. Throughout the rest of the country, this is something that's really going to benefit some athletes, just to be identified or be seen. So that's really the end goal for us.
What an incredible event. I want to leave you with one more story. Kylie Molitor from Reedsburg, Wisconsin, a 2025 middle infielder receiving a very high 8th grade. Erica, his mom, went to Wisconsin lacrosse. And if you're thinking Molitor, Wisconsin, could it be Paul Molitor in some way related? You bet. Dad is Paul Molitor. Of course, Paul Molitor, the one that played baseball at Wisconsin Stevens Point. As a matter of fact, this Paul Molitor hit .371 in 2002 for Stevens Point. Fun. That was a really incredible event. When we come back, we'll wrap this show, but not before we learn some hitting tips from one of the finest hitters in the 2022 class. When we come back to Perfect Game Weekly, presented by Rawlings. Final segment of Perfect Game Weekly, presented by Rawlings. Admit it. If your major league team struggled last year, you started thinking, well, at least we'll pick high in the draft. And then you started learning. You really started learning, not like the diehards like me who follow the prospects, but you started learning who the best was. And you learned the name of Elijah Green, a young man who's at IMG Academy. I know you've heard about him. His dad played in the NFL, and he plays for the Phillies scout team on the travel ball side. He's a Miami commit, as we talked about earlier. This is a dramatically explosive bat. We've seen him in the Perfect Game world go from 5'7", 145 at his first PG event, not too imposing, to 6'3", 225. It's the perfect combination of power and speed, and he may land on your team who didn't do well last year. How does he do it? I went inside the batting cage at last year's Perfect Game National Showcase, and I learned how I do what I do from Elijah Green. No better place to learn how to hit in the PG Tech cage and from Elijah Green. You want to teach a little bit?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's do it. I'll get out, but I'm going to ask you some questions. As you get ready to swing, what are the keys?
Okay, so I'm a little bit outside my shoulder width apart. I'm just relaxing. And then when the pitch is coming, pick up my leg. I'm going to crunch my hips a little bit so I gain more power in my legs. And then I stride out just a little bit past where I'm from originally, so I can get more space and I'm not trapping myself inside my legs, so I get more power hitting the ball out in front and then crush the ball. My hands slowly go back as the pitcher's moving, shift my weight back into my back leg, and then as the pitcher's coming, pick up my leg and fire my hands to the ball, slightly above the ball, so the barrel's square on the ball, and then finish.
What has to happen with your head to be an effective hitter?
Just no movement, just keeping the eye on the pitcher's hand so you can see the pitch he's throwing or the spin rate, and just keep the eye at the ball, see if the ball is strike. It really starts at the on-deck circle. You can see the pitcher's hand, so I just gotta recognize if he's flicking the ball or just letting it go, if it's fastball or curveball or slider.
How are you handling the fastball, the firm fastball in?
You just have to attack it out in front, and you gotta finish low so the ball gets backspin and carries far.
Okay, the breaking ball away.
Just gotta stay through it. Again, you have to attack out in front so it's not past you and it's already dead. So you gotta attack it out in front and just continue to finish. You can't roll over, you just gotta stay through it.
Excellent. How are you handling this pitch with some teeth to it?
You just have to keep your hands on top, you can't drop. You just gotta keep your hands on top and catch the ball out in front, because if you beat it back here, it's gonna be a foul ball. And then just gotta keep it out in front and just stay on top of it.
Nice. 2018-14 U Select Festival for Perfect Game, and 2021 Perfect Game All-American Elijah Green. Can't wait to see him play next. And as a matter of fact, I'll have that opportunity. And you can join me. You can join us on Perfect Game TV Thursday, Friday, and Saturday from Perfect Game's High School Showdown, the amazing annual event. Right out of the gates, it'll be Elijah and his teammates going toe-to-toe with Huntsville High School. But again, wall-to-wall coverage of the outstanding event, some of the best high school teams in the Southeast. We want to thank certainly Elijah for his insights. We want to thank rookie Shepard for what he brought to the table. The Road Warriors, the Great Scouts. We need to make that a pretty regular segment. And of course, Destiny Martinez and her softball team with Perfect Game Softball. If you love anything about this show, catching it on television, go to your favorite smart device and download the perfectgame.tv app. My name is Darren Sutton, and this has been the only show devoted to amateur baseball and softball. Perfect Game Weekly, presented by Rawlings. See you soon.